College football is at its best when Miami is good. I don't care if you like them. I don't care if you hate them. This sport is at its best when Miami is good. As a Tennessee fan, it gets even better when Florida's at the bottom. Gators ate it, 41-17 in their own territory, in their own swamp. Here's what Miami did. They went to the swamp, drained it, pissed in it to fill it back up, drained it again.
They did it so much that their players were out there recruiting the Florida visitors, the official visitors in the game, the recruits that were at the game. That's when they were peeing in it. They drained it again by telling those guys not to go to Florida, which is the reason that this game has to be played, which is what you said at the open of this episode. This game has to be played. It's so weird, dude. It's so weird that even in week one, Miami's like flexing and in the driver's seat in the ACC. That's weird. I know they beat Texas A&M last year, and they looked like they were heading in the right direction before before the U was broken over the knee and before everything happened that happened. But dude, I mean, they broke the Florida F over their knee. They pissed in their stadium. They drained it. They took all the grass out of the stadium. Now Florida's gonna be playing on like dirt and stuff. Like they left them with nothing. Nothing.
So MTSU goes into Miami 2 years ago, breaks the U over their knee. Duke goes into Miami, breaks the U over the knee. Did you tell me you saw this? Mario Cristobal right in front of the student section breaking the Gator chomp over his knee. Oh. It was about the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It
was. But cringeworthy.
Yeah, I mean, but here's how bad it was. Graham Mertz, 11 for 20, 91 yards. And we've already discussed some really bad quarterback play. Add an interception to it, gives him a QBR of 19.1. Enter DJ Lagway, who they're really hyped about. 3 for 6. Okay, that's 50%. That's 31 yards, 5.2 on the average, and a pick. Their only bright spot, right? Montrell Johnson. That's it. 11 for 106, almost 10 yards per carry, a long of 71. Here's my argument to that.
There it is. There it is.
Because if you, I mean, and it's a small bust. Your force player lost force or lost contain. Call him force, call him contain, whatever. He lost it, and it was one guy goofed, and it allowed 71 yards on the ground. In which Johnson, you notice, didn't have his previous step. I thought that he had lost a step.
Yes.
Otherwise, he might have housed that. You take that out of there, you're talking about 10 for, I don't do math very well.
35.
35.
35.
Okay.
3.5 per carry.
Yeah. So, and all that said, go ahead.
No. I'm just going to say the reason he's probably lost a step is because he underwent an arthroscopic procedure during fall practice. And I mean, you couldn't possibly hold him out. You don't have anything behind him. Your next leading rusher with 20 yards is DJ Lagway. Mm-hmm. You don't have anybody behind him. You can't allow him. I mean, 11 reps. That's a win for Florida in this hideous loss. That you're probably not going to like damage his ceiling for this season. But now you've got him. He's not as fast. You've got nothing behind him that you're willing to trust for more than 6. Oh, nope, that's Graham Mertz. Three carries for the backup Trayon Webb, 3 yards and a touchdown. Whoop de freaking do. There's nothing. This cupboard is empty.
Absolutely. Let's end this segment by talking about this. I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about Cam Ward. What does this loss mean for Florida going forward?
This loss means that it could be the very, very low end of that floor that we talked about. This means it could be 3-9 or possibly 4 wins. If the only way that they get to 5-6 wins at this point is if Miami is just that good, which we'll see. They did look pretty good, or they develop things along the way that carry them to that point. Here's the problem. Okay. Yeah, you've got Samford. Then I think it's Texas A&M and
Correct.
Mississippi State in some order like that.
Yes, exactly.
If you drop that Texas A&M game, because you're going to beat Samford, you should beat Samford by rolling the ball across the field, horizontally, not even north and south. If you lose that Texas A&M game, morale in the dumpster. because they're not looking too hot. They didn't look good at all offensively. We'll get to it. If you lose that Mississippi State game, all is lost. It's first year Jeff Lebby. I don't care if it's played on the moon. You can't lose that game. I've got zero confidence in you doing anything. 50-50 toss-ups from here on out in any of those games where we said, yeah, Florida can probably steal this one. 50-50 toss-ups at best. You're looking at the low end of that floor is what this means.
Do you remember in the middle of this Florida-Miami game, you texted me and said, how much longer is Napier going to last? Do you remember this?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
What was my response? Do you remember?
Your response was, how many points does Miami need to end it today, Saturday?
Okay. So I'm going to take everything you just said a step farther.
Okay.
If Florida doesn't show out against Samford, that could be it, because that Miami loss was bad. You didn't just lose; you got embarrassed, and there were the surrounding narratives that made it so much worse. Cristobal breaking the chomp over his knee. There were the recruits that were there that you had mentioned. The post game interview where he lost the fight with the water bottle. For those of you who don't know, he couldn't get the cap off the water bottle during his interview. He didn't acknowledge it, but he couldn't do it. If you don't handle Samford, handle them. It could be then, because this is the outcome of this Miami game now. Now, after that, you're going to have to turn around and host A&M, and after watching them on Saturday, they're better. They're improved.
Oh, yeah.
They went toe-to-toe with a really good Notre Dame team. Now, we picked them to win that game, and I don't want to traffic too much into that because we're going to talk about it. But Florida has got to get this stuff together. But shifting gears, we're going to close out this segment. Cam Ward. Are you buying stock on Cam Ward?
I'm buying stock, dude. Because it's not because that, it almost sounds like I'm putting stock back into Florida if I'm buying Cam. It's the environment. It's the miserable heat that both teams had to deal with. And it's what he did going 385-3 in his first live action with this team, man. This is not a team that he grew up, broke out, and became Cam Ward against, for lack of better words. This is not where he earned his stripes. He earned them across the country on the other corner of it. Not only the other end, as far away as you can be is where he earned his name. And he made people know who he was. And look, it's clear that he likes Xavier Restrepo. I'm betting if I was Miami's quarterback, I would too. He's a stud. But 385-3 is strong. The pick was a little bit behind a guy coming across the field. We know that.
Oh, he threw across his body.
He did, and he did a lot of this stuff. He did a lot of these low arm slots, sidearm looking throws, and a lot of times landed a pretty accurate ball doing it.
Correct.
Man, he looks dang good. He looks like everything perhaps that he was built up to be, and that's just his first debut with this group of guys.
Absolutely. Cam Ward is special, and what's even more special is the fact that Miami went to Florida. I'm gonna say it again: drained it, pissed in it, fill it back up, drained it again. Got a win, 41-17.